Hi, and welcome to the Financial Goddess channel. In today's video, I'm going to continue with a series on Journey of a Successful Business Owner. And what I'll be focusing on sharing with you today is one of my key elements, which is the not being afraid to step outside of the comfort zone to continue to evolve. And what I'm going to share with you is my own journey of starting up the YouTube channel. I'm sharing my story with you in hopes to inspire you, and if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed and unsure of wanting to try something new, I'm hoping that my video will encourage you to step outside of your own comfort zone in order for you to be able to continue to grow and evolve and become the best version of yourself that you can be. So let me start with my own journey of the YouTube channel. About 3 years ago, I had an account manager from one of the common business directories, and she has given me an advice that if I wanted to improve the my website performance and my website ranking on Google, that it would be a good idea for me to create all these different social media channels that will create backlinks to my website. Now, by no means, let me disclaim it right now, I'm not an IT expert. I have, at the time especially, zero knowledge about SEOs, website optimizations, or Google ranking and how any of that possibly work. However, I have taken her advice on board and have gone ahead and set up all the social media profiles. And one of them was this YouTube channel. At that point in time, I had no real purpose for this particular YouTube channel. I was quite camera shy and didn't know whether there is anything in particular that I could possibly share or contribute to the greater YouTube world. My understanding at the time was that YouTube is predominantly for young people, like the teenagers I have at home, that absolutely enjoy listening to music and more so watch gamers, play games, and comment on it. So at that point in time, I didn't see how I, with my business and finance background, could contribute anything to anyone interested in YouTube. As such, and in order to make sure that that channel is completely not empty and there is those backlinks that she was talking about, I've just put in a few of my promotional advertising videos on this YouTube channel and left it as is. If you want to have a look at them, you can look at the videos that I have posted 3 years ago, and you'll see that they simply a 30-second or less promotional campaigns for my business, Financial Goddess. And then there was it. A complete silence from me. There was no presence on YouTube whatsoever. Few times I had conversations with my friends that work in marketing and advertising, and I had multiple conversations around the YouTube channel. But again, I felt that it's not the space that I'm an expert at, and I was afraid to take that leap and do anything with it. I also didn't see how a content that I'll create and the topics that are technical and dry will be something that a traditional YouTuber might be interested in watching. So it sat on the back burner for 3 years until a month ago. So I continued to focus on my business, as in helping my clients on the face-to-face consultations, both physically in my office as well as in their business premises, and now with this whole COVID situation, working within Zoom space with clients across Australia and as well as clients on the international scale. And what I have found is particularly high demand for my strategic business planning and business mentoring services. The common feedback I started receiving from clients is that they're sick and tired of dealing with accountants that are just focused on compliance, of accountants that just give them the financials to sign off and tax return. That there is zero conversations around their KPIs, their business performance, zero advisory services, zero strategic planning. They don't feel like their accountant is their business partner, their strategic business partner. And as a result, the demand for my business services has tripled in the last 12 to 18 months. So I sat there, and being the helper like I naturally am, I started thinking about ways in which I can help more and more people achieve the same great results that I was able to achieve for my clients. And I have realized that there is not enough hours in a day for me to be able to personally, one-on-one, reach out to every single person out there in the world that is having financial problems or problems with starting business or running business. And so, as I was brainstorming different ways of how I can reach a greater audience and help even more people experience the same financial freedom and the same financial abundance that I was able to achieve for my clients, I have kept coming back to the same thing, this YouTube channel. It was a scary venture for me. I am by no means a tech expert. I'm most likely like you, just a business owner who has a lot of information in there, a lot of content, a lot of knowledge, a lot of qualifications, a lot of experience, but technology and YouTube certainly isn't my area of expertise. However, I have decided to step outside of my comfort zone, and I have decided to focus not on my shortcomings as a YouTuber and not on my lack of technical know-how of making engaging or entertaining channel, but to dig deep, and focus on my why. And my why for starting this channel is to be able to help people like yourself and to reach as many people as possible in order to make a difference in their lives. And once I went outside of my own headspace and my own doubts and discomforts and focus on my why and the greatest purpose for what I'm trying to achieve, everything else almost became irrelevant. Now, when I say it became irrelevant, it doesn't mean that I don't care about the quality of my YouTube videos. Being the perfectionist that I naturally am, I want to achieve the highest quality videos for my audience. And you'll see over time, if you give me enough chance, that the quality will improve and the engagement will improve, as I'm already putting things in place to make it happen. However, the decision that I have made internally is that what was the most important thing that I needed to do and I wanted to do is to produce a high quality content for my audience and share my knowledge and my expertise to make a difference in other people's lives. And of course, over time, as I'm producing more videos on the content that is relevant to you, naturally, I will continue to make it a point to improve on the quality of my presentation. So it is a steep learning curve that I've stepped up and decided to take on. A lot more goes behind the scenes that might seem for a standard audience. Certainly, I know that when I was watching YouTube videos and before I started to produce my own content, I had no idea about the technical skills that were required to produce some of the top quality content that I see some of the other YouTubers produce. Now that I'm sitting on the other side of the camera, it's taught me more respect and more appreciation for the hard work and the skills that is required, and it created additional to-do list for me that I can now go ahead and learn the skills. So right in front of your very own eyes, I can continue to improve on the quality of the content that I'm producing, and I can continue to improve in the quality of the experience that you're going to have as an audience from watching my channel. However, as I have mentioned before, it has taken me 3 long years to get to that point to decide to just go ahead and produce the content that I would like to share that can help people make a difference in their personal and business finance. And it's taken me such a long time because I had unrealistic expectation of just believing that I need to produce that perfect video. It has to be the perfect video from day one. It has to be perfect audio, perfect backdrop, and everything else, perfect editing, and everything else that comes with it. And by me demanding so highly of myself in the skills that weren't my area of expertise, I was afraid to be vulnerable with you, with my audience, because I'm used to being an expert in my field. I'm used to being on top of my game. I'm not used to being at the bottom of the curveball, which is where it sits at within the YouTube realms, and starting fresh with learning those skills. But I made the decision, and as you can see, it's not the end of the world. The world still exists out there with and without the mistakes. And if you look at the very first videos that I have produced nearly a month ago now, since I've restarted the channel, the audio quality was poor. I was using my laptop mic, then I had this other mic which I will show you, then I got this professional mic that was supposed to make a difference, and it turned out from the comments I got that the audio actually was even worse than just using my laptop mic. Then I went and sourced a third different type of mic, and hopefully you can see when you listen to the very first videos I did 4 weeks ago to now that the quality of audio has improved significantly. But to me, that's part of being a successful business owner. It's not being afraid to take those risks. And if you look at famous people, for example, Oprah Winfrey herself or Kim Kardashian, they all have taken risks within their career, within their business journeys, and some of those risks paid off and some of those risks didn't. If you look at people like Sir Richard Branson, the same thing. He's taken risks with going into different industries with his business, and some of those industries did really well for him and others didn't do so well. However, part of being a successful business owner is using all these opportunities to go outside of your comfort zone and taking those calculating risks to continue to grow and evolve, and not treating things like a failure, just treating it as lessons learned and skills gained over time. And so if you're thinking of starting your own YouTube channel, or perhaps there is another concept that you've had hidden in a closet and you're worried about people's reaction, whether it's your business or a new project you're working on, don't be afraid to give it a go. You will never know how your idea is going to be perceived. Usually we are our own worst critics, especially as women. We'll look at ourselves and we'll criticize every smallest point. However, other people don't see you the same way that you see yourself. Something that might seem, especially for a perfectionist, as that's not quite good enough, For other people, that could be something great. It could be the best thing that they've ever seen or the best idea that they've ever seen. And if you launch something and it's not as great as you hoped for it to be, you can always learn from your feedback and you can continue to improve on what you have done. For example, when I used to work on various projects, once a year we'll run different events and you plan them about 12 months in advance, and that's back when I was working on Yapa Board of Management and also at Liverpool Youth Council. We used to run a lot of events and we used to run a lot of projects, and we would plan them 12 months in advance. And you know what? The event came and went. Most things went according to plan, not everything, but we kept going. We didn't turn around and say, okay, that didn't work 100% to plan, we're gonna scrap that idea for next year. For example, things like Youth Week. We evaluated the project, what's happened, what worked, what hasn't worked, and next year we implemented how we can do things better. Now, looking at my own business, every year I spend 2 weeks a year, 1 week in June and 1 week in December, where it's my strategic think week, in the same way that Bill Gates does that. We lock ourselves away from any disruptions, away from public, and that's our week to come up with the greatest ideas for our business, the brainstorming, all the concepts. I look personally at what has worked in my business, what hasn't worked. I look at what my client's journey has been like, what are the latest trends in my industry, and what direction do I want my business to continue to grow in. It's very strategic, it's very proactive, and it's pretty much on do not disturb unless it's an absolute emergency. And that then gives me an action plan for the following period. The same looking at these YouTube videos. I've created the first videos. I saw what hasn't worked in terms of the mic and the audio. So I worked on purchasing other mics and doing my research until I found one that does a decent quality of work for what I need to do. The same with converting the presentations that I do for Trading Mate and BNI and Rotary International, and finding a way of how I can convert those PowerPoints into a good quality YouTube video, which is not as simple as just uploading the audio with PowerPoint file, as I found the hard way. So it's all about continuous process of improvement. And if you want to be a successful business owner, or if you are already a successful business owner, don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to go outside of your comfort zone, because that's where your greatest development, that's where your greatest character evolution is going to happen. If you're truly drawn to a particular idea, if there's an idea you had at the back of your mind of something that you really want to do, like me, wanting to create this YouTube channel to reach a greater amount of people that I can help, just go ahead, do it, fall, get up, learn from your mistakes, continue to grow, continue to improve, continue to learn skills. And when you get to the level where you're ready to take on some experts to give you a helping hand, then get experts involved to help you and to create that support network to turn your dream into reality. And worst case scenario, if it's a complete flop and you ended up having an idea that people are not as warm and fuzzy about as you were, they're not as happy and crazy as you were, that's okay. At least you gave it a go. You've lived your life with no regrets, and there are some lessons that you can draw and some things that you can learn from that project that you've taken on. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and if you have, please subscribe to my channel. Have a great day.